Welcome to the Raw Report, episode 34. I am your host, Jerry, along with my co-host, the Bolivian Siberian Andre Pete Perez, Bone Santana, and the Bronx Bomber X. And we have a very exciting new episode. But before we begin, please hit the subscribe, like button, drop a comment, follow us on Raw Instagram at Raw Fantasy Sports. And big news, man, Kirk Cousins out for the season. And that definitely dampers the Vikings' chances to go to the playoffs this year. As you guys know, Justin Jefferson is already out. Now Kirk Cousins out for the season with an Achilles injury. And it is looking very uncertain right now. They just traded for Joshua Dobbs. All right, so that leaves the Cardinals with no QB at the moment. But I believe Kyler Murray may or may not be coming back. But that just puts everything in a weird spot, guys.
No, they're tanking right now. There's nothing to do in Arizona right now. They're tanking.
I mean, it's kind of obvious, bro. You're not gonna speed back Kyler Murray to a team that's 1-7 right now, right? And on top of that, you know, they traded away Josh Dobbs to the Vikings. Who knows how he's gonna do out there? Kirk Cousins out for the year. If you saw that video, bro. His Achilles, you could see that shit pop. I know this personally tore my Achilles twice. It was not a pretty look. Hopefully he'll come back by the start of next season, but he'll be 36 at that point. Who knows what he has left in the tank? Maybe no more bursts. He's not a running quarterback, but we'll see how they fare. It sucks to see them coming back into the NFC North no longer, bro.
Man, it sucks right now because, you know, Big Kirko, like even though his season is done, right? And the Vikings won't go nowhere, to be honest. But now the stock on TJ Hawkinson and Osborne, who was a pretty popular pickup in the waiver wire the last 2 weeks. Do you even, obviously Osborne isn't play, but the Hawkinson.
Not just him. The rookie Jordan Addison, bro.
Oh, Addison as well. I can't believe I forgot about him. But yeah, Addison, Osborne, and Hawkinson. How do they look like moving forward? A lot of people were treating Addison as their number one wide receiver. A lot of people, including myself, have Hawkinson in multiple leagues because, I knew that was a passing offense. Now you have who?
And they don't have a running back to back him up. Like Madison hasn't been the answer. Cam Akers had a few more touches. We'll see. But, I think the Vikings are going to go downwards after they went upwards.
Yeah, man. It's not looking good.
The Vikings just traded for Dobbs, right? So that means that they're trying to save something of their season and make something out of it. Yeah. But, for me, the quarterback that, put himself back on the map was Joe Burrow. After that slow start they had this year to now coming back and beating the entire NFC West. They beat the entire division. They beat the Rams. They beat the Niners. They beat the Seahawks. They beat the Cardinals, obviously. Who can't? But just, they put a stamp on beating the Niners, and I think they're back on the map, guys. So I know Bones is in love with T. Higgins, so I think he could finish the year kind of strong. I'm not going to
lie. Now, guys, I know for a fact that I'm going to get some reactions here. We're going to run a poll after this pod. A.J. Brown, Patty Mahomes for Tua Tagovailoa and T. Higgins. This man over here, Santana, made one of, potentially, in my opinion, one of the worst trades that you can make in fantasy. Why? Because the receiving party of that trade ended up being number one in fantasy football, while this guy over here ended up, number 4, number 5 now? You traded 2 Hall of Famers, Bones. Explain yourself.
First of all, there's only one Hall of Fame on that list. A.J. Brown could be the next DK Metcalf, for all we know, right? And, well, like I said before, I believed in T. Higgins a lot earlier than A.J. Brown because I just had more faith in that.
You hit the panic button. You hit the panic button like a bitch. Sorry. It's all good, man. You know what, Bones? We all make mistakes, some more than others. As you attest to this quite often. It was a terrible trade. Thankfully the league can vote on such trades. And I try to help you out there by, I never vote no. But I tried for a few rounds until we got enough votes. And you know what? I said, he wants to shoot himself in the foot. Be my guest.
It's all good though. The guy that got Patty just put him on the trade block. So now the power.
That's fake news. That's fake news. Come on,
That's
man.
not fake news. Show
That's
the chat.
fake news. He's not going to trade Patty.
That's a weak comeback. That's a weak comeback.
You better
not
hope
gonna
he's
put him
not
on the
dumb enough
mic.
to give me Patty back. You better hope he's not dumb enough to give me Patty back. Matter of fact, let me submit a trade right now. I'm gonna get Patty back.
Listen. All I know is that we've seen a few trades go down today. A lot of activity
Submitted.
go down. And Andre, what's up with the Commanders? I see them having a little mini fire sale over there, getting rid of a few notables today. What's been your favorite aspect of this trading day today?
Hey, it's at the end of the day, it's a business. They traded up for these two guys, Chase Young and Montez Sweat, in the 2020 draft. They got Chase Young at the second overall pick. They could have had Tua, Herbert, or Hurts. Take your pick. And then they traded back in to get Montez Sweat at 24. Solid pick. Like that actually panned out a little better because Young, health issues, couldn't stay on the field. But both of them were free agents at the end of the year. They weren't getting re-signed, and if they did, the Commanders weren't going to give him the money, so they were going to walk for free. It's better to get something than nothing. Third round pick for Young, second round pick for Sweat. It's you take the L, but you get some draft capital back. Try to rebuild.
That's 5 players in the first 3 rounds for you guys next year. So not bad, If you guys don't strike out, that's 5 serviceable starters on rookie contracts for the next 4 years.
Hey, it's a hit or miss league on some players in the first few rounds and likewise at the end, but the problem is our scouting team reaches and reaches for players that they could get in the later rounds, and it doesn't pan out. I.e., Emmanuel Forbes this year, first-round pick, had his first game, I think he had an interception. He went wild, but since then, quiet, and he just got blown out by A.J. Brown, a future Hall of Famer. Say it with me, Bones. Future Hall of Famer. Blown out. You don't put a rookie on a great receiver like A.J. Brown like that, man. So that said, their scouting needs to get better, but they got something for these 2 picks, for these 2 guys. Not mad about it, not excited.
Donovan Peoples-Jones traded from Cleveland to Detroit. I have already put in a little wire, in for him because that's a passing offense. It's a passing offense. Detroit knows how to put up numbers. It's all about golf over there. So that's a trade, that stood out to me. The Young trade to San Fran, that was something. They're definitely trying to empty out the clip because Brock Purdy is still on a rookie contract this season and next season. So, obviously they're trying to maximize before they got to pay a quarterback. But after that, there's not going to be no money to go around. Nothing else that really shakes the league up like that.
Yeah, nothing else really should.
I like the Giants trade. I can't lie. It breaks my heart. But the Leonard Williams to Seattle trade, that solidifies their line. He'll get noticed and he'll be able to play in some big games. As a Giant, as a Jet, he didn't really have a chance to really excel to reach that potential that he has. And he's still a young player. He still has a lot of miles on him left to go. I think he's going to be a great acquisition for the Seahawks.
Yeah, he's 29, man. Like as a defensive end, like you're kind of in your prime there. So he's still in that prime age for defensive end. So you can still expect good things out of that team. And the Seahawks aren't no pushovers. They're number 1 in the NFC West.
Is that his name?
No, you wear Levi's, but I think it's Levis.
Will Levis shines in his debut, throwing 4 touchdowns out there in Tennessee.
Woo! Freedom to Hopkins, baby, on the starting lineup. Let's go.
Yeah. No, it's
racking
because
up
you had
fantasy points all around.
Nah, well,
He
Levis,
looked good. He looked good.
He looked better than Tannehill. I don't want to hear that shit. Tannehill needs to get the
of
fuck
course,
to the bench.
bro. Tannehill and Malik, bro. He looked better than them. He had 0 interceptions, 0 fumbles, 4 touchdowns. He looked like a stud out there. El mayo en el café, el plátano con piel.
Yeah,
and amazing, bro.
Yeah, and a player that young, I'm not looking for you to throw 4 touchdowns every game. You know, it was a miracle he threw 4 touchdowns. That was great. As a rookie, his first start, that was amazing. But, you know, going into the rest of the season, at least, he'll probably be the starter now. And I'm not looking for him to have crazy stats. I'm just looking for passing yards. If he can just move the ball and they can be kind of effective in the red zone, that team, you know, they have a running game. We know who their running back is. And if they can get some type of passing game going with the threats that they have, and DeAndre Hopkins and what's the other kid?
Nick Inhine Westbrook.
Yeah, him too.
He caught a touchdown, but I think it was his only reception. But hey, his stock goes up with better QB
Right,
play.
exactly.
I agree.
And honestly, so will Henry's stock. Don't be surprised.
Yeah.
Henry
They
is
won't
known
stack
to
him up.
finish the year strong. He's known for that.
If that boy can pass, then Henry's job becomes easier. And honestly, I'm looking forward to this man, Levis, to keep throwing the ball to DeAndre Hopkins because he's one of my starters out of necessity. And now my wide receiver lineup is looking even better. So shout out to Levis. Let's see how it moves on moving forward. I put in a waiver wire from him in that super flex league that we have because my super flex was Captain Kirk Cousins. Well, now he's out.
I'm about to look at my waiver position and see if I can pick him up before you. Thanks, bro.
Okay,
you got to give it up to Tennessee, though. They seem to be rolling right now. They could potentially make that playoff push. Levis, over 200 yards passing through the air. Derrick Henry, 101 rushing yards. D-Hop, over 120 yards in the air. So they're looking good out there, man. They had a slow start, but I would agree with X here. I don't see Tannehill being the starter moving forward. I mean, he's been there plenty of time, and we've seen a lot of guys come and go, and they don't really work out for them. All right, so I think that if he can throw the ball, he can stay consistent with the team that he has. I don't see why Tennessee doesn't make a wild card position. Right, they don't make that wild card push. But most importantly, guys, now that we have 8 weeks in the books, we got the top 4 teams of the AFC, NFC. So without further ado, let's get it straight to the AFC. Bones, talk to me.
All right. Cusco Papi here believes that the top 4 teams, right, that stand at 6-2 currently, the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Jaguars, and the Ravens. In my opinion, you know, obviously it's gonna be a little biased, right? But it's gonna be Dolphins, Jaguars, Chiefs, Ravens.
¿Verdad?
What?
In what order? In what order?
Dolphins, Jaguars, Chiefs, Ravens.
Okay. All right. Well, if I had to reorder that list, I would not even put the Chiefs as a top 4 team in the AFC. They're not a top 4 team. They're and I was very high on the Chiefs, you know, but now they're gonna be under the Taylor Swift curse because now they just got themselves out of position. My number 4 team, I'm gonna have to go with
the Chiefs,
none other but the Miami Dolphins. I think the Dolphins, they have to have some respect. They can take anybody out. My number 3 team, I'm gonna have Baltimore in there. Baltimore can take anyone out. That's a serious team. Number 2, I want to put the Bengals because they have Ice Cold Joe. And number 1,
back, baby.
For number 1 in my AFC, I'm going to go with my Super Bowl pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars. You heard it here first. Week 8, I'm picking the Jaguars to go to the Super Bowl.
Okay. Early. We gonna have this episode out there. I agree with your assessment on the Chiefs. Not so much the Taylor, you know, like Taylor Swift curse. Even though, you know, I don't mind that little stamp, you know, being on that team that season. I mean, this season, but yeah, you know, they just lost to the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
The same team the Dolphins put 70 on. The same exact fucking team. So. Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was 3 picks by Patty. It was rough. It was rough. So okay, I see that. And the Jags, wow.
Yep.
But the Bengals.
My top 4, definitely gonna have to put the Chiefs up there, man. They know what they're doing. They figure something out. We've seen this time and time again from Patty. All right. He's gonna make with the tools that he has, and that's what makes him a Hall of Fame quarterback. All right. So for number two, I'm gonna put Jacksonville in there. We've been big on Jacksonville since the start of the season. I don't see why Doug Peterson can't get the Jacksonville Jaguars to the promised land. He did it with the Eagles in 2017. I'm gonna put Baltimore at number three, just because they've shown that consistency. But I can't front on the Miami Dolphins. They're still undefeated at home. They just need to fix that defense, man. They have a lot of points scored against them, but I think that should decrease now that you guys have Jalen Ramsey back. And I've definitely been on the lookout for the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, I think those are the main two contenders that are going to come in for like that last spot that can potentially knock some of these teams out, at least in the top four. But that would be my top four for the AFC.
There's a lot of good implications this weekend. So the Dolphins play the Chiefs, as we all know, in Germany. That has conference, seeding potential, and also and like how Jerry just said, the Bengals and the Bills. Two teams that for now look like they're not going to win.
They're knocking on the door, bro.
So they're going to have to battle for that wild card spot. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe there's an extra wild card spot now, right? With the new playoff format. But
seven teams.
Yeah, so it's but it's looking like because those two teams, what the Bills are what? They're 5-3. What are the Bengals?
5-3. Yes,
5-3.
And the Bengals are 3-5 or 4-5.
4-3.
Bengals are
4-3.
4-3.
They're not 5-3?
The Bengals are 4-3 and the Bills are 5-3.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's see how this goes. Obviously the Bills aren't leading their division, so potentially, they're holding down a wild card spot. And the Bengals, who's ahead right now? The Steelers?
No, the Ravens are 6-2.
The Ravens
are 6-2.
Yeah.
The
Steelers,
Browns, and Bengals all 4-3. There's no losing record in that division.
Do you guys?
And the Bengals are technically in last place.
Do you guys see the Bengals reaching the Ravens record?
What compromises the Bengals right now is that they haven't won a single division or conference game. So they have yet to win any important games up to this point. They're 0-2 in the division, 0-3 in the conference.
0-3 in the conference? Yeah, so
they'll bounce back. They'll bounce back. Right?
Sunday night.
But no one wants to see them in the playoffs.
It's a little too early.
It's gonna be a problem.
I believe it's a little too early.
After they came out of that bye week, Joe was slinging it. Jamar said, hey, I'm open, and he's 7-11 right now. T. Higgins, I think he produced 11 points in fantasy, but he's getting there. Joe Mixon had a touchdown. He had some open space. He's 7 years in the league. He's not that young running back anymore. Not as spry. Got some miles under him, but he looked better out there. So the Bengals are a team to watch for. But my four, I'll make it quick. Bones, I'm sorry, Dolphins at 4. They're 2-2. They're 2-2 away. They got to be able to close out games away, not just home. They got to be able to close out games away. Yes. Then I'll have the Ravens at 3. They are a solid team. I like them. I still like the Jags. I like the Jags at 2. They are looking nice. ETN is a beast. Calvin Ridley had kind of like a bounce back game. Sunshine is looking great out there. Evan Ingram is popping off. But it's the Chiefs, man. You got Andy Cheeseburgers Reed out there. He's gonna figure it out. That team had a slump. They had a bad game. Why? Taylor Swift was not in attendance. Look at the average yards for Travis Kelce. Over 111 yards when she's at the game. Under 60 when she's not. Hey, I'm here to state the facts, fellas. I'm here to talk facts, and those are the facts.
All right, guys. So that brings us up to the NFC top 4, and I'm gonna let X take the lead on this one.
Oh man, my top 4 in the NFC. I'm gonna go with the Lions at number 4. Ooh. Lions are a formidable team. I think they are a threat. I'm not gonna say they can't reach the Super Bowl. I just think there's other teams in the way. Number 3, I know they just had a loss, and nobody really believes in their quarterback, but I think they have the best coach in the NFL. I have to put the Niners at number 3, even if they dropped in my rankings a bit. Number 2 in the NFC, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go with who do we have? Who else is in the NFC right now? That's holding it down.
The
Right here,
Eagles.
baby. The Philadelphia referees.
No, I think the Eagles are probably number one. I can't even lie right now. The Eagles, they're looking formidable right now.
So
They're
then
number.
they would be the Seahawks.
I wouldn't put them at 2 though.
So then,
The
so then
Falcons
it.
can't be anyone from the NFC South.
so bump up the Niners. Put them at 3 and bump up the Niners.
But yeah, I'll bump up the Niners, and then at my 4 team, I guess
Nobody wants to say the
I'll put
Cowboys.
the Seahawks. I'll put the Seahawks at 4 after the trade they just made right now. Yeah,
Yeah, they're going for it. They're going for it. So
Yeah. they're going.
No, they'll go for it. But you know, I gotta say the Philadelphia referees. I mean, Eagles definitely number one. Right? They got the best team in the league, the best record in the league right now. Perfect at home, 1 loss away. Tough loss, you know, against the Zach Milson Jets. So, but at 2, I'd have to put the Lions. Yeah, they got that blow. They got blown out by Ravens. They got exposed. They came back and bounced back. Right, Monday night, or was it Sunday night? They had a great game. The problem after that is I'm not picking anybody from the NFC South. Nobody. The NFC West, I would say the Seahawks and the Niners. I can't even rank them. But the Niners, I'd probably put the Niners at 3. They got Nick Bosa and Chase Young on the edge now. Just that defense is solid. If they can help carry Brock Purdy whenever he's playing average or below average, they'll be okay. The Seahawks at 4.
I have the Niners last. Why? Because we've seen this story before, fellas. We've seen the Niners defense carry a sorry-ass motherfucker to the Super Bowl in the name of Jimmy Garoppolo, and all he had to do was orchestrate a touchdown drive, and they have a championship. But no, he couldn't even put that together. That's Brock Purdy. That's Brock Purdy when no one else is around and available. They're too hurt. They're on a 3-game losing streak. So I put them at 4, right? I would put the Seahawks at 3. I like how they're built, and obviously, you know, they were active in the trade deadline, so they think they have a shot at it. You know, especially being in the same division as the Niners. You know, they're looking to get ahead, and that's set. And at what? They're
They
7-2.
They need that.
No, they're 6-2, right?
They're 5-3 or 5.
No, they're 6. No, the Niners are 5-3. The 76.
No, the Seahawks are 5-2. I think it's because they had a bye week.
So
They had their bye week already.
So yeah,
and the Niners are on a bye this week.
So
yeah, the Niners are on a bye this week.
Then I would put the Lions number 2 because I believe Dan Campbell is one of the best coaches out in this league. A former player, knows how to connect with the team, and ever since he's been head coach at Detroit, they've only gotten better. Look at him now.
He also benches like 500 pounds. So
he'll steal your wife. He'll take your wife away from you.
I'll let him.
Do push-ups. He'll do push-ups walking away. That's how much of a man he is.
It's the wisest thing you've ever said.
And then it'll be the Philadelphia Eagles, you know, because you just can't argue, you know, like the record shows it. Even though they've been in very close games all season, they are not wowing the untrained eyes out here.
Yo, how do we leave Jerry the last one to speak in this?
That's right, baby. That's right. Listen.
Yo, Bones, you were supposed to let Jerry go first and not have the last.
Look.
Pan the camera over here.
You need to take ideas away from us.
Order.
Listen. Order in the court. Listen.
2 minutes starting now.
There's no referee here to save you, Jerry.
All right. Okay. Number four, I'm gonna put in you know, now that the Minnesota Vikings are stuck in the conundrum, I think I'm gonna have to put the Atlanta Falcons, man, at number 4.
What?
I think they're gonna be able to squeeze it in there. That's gonna be my surprise pick right now. Just because, you know, I don't like the Dallas Cowboys. I don't believe in them cats. All right, even though CeeDee Lamb 40 points. All right, you just put it up in fantasy. I like the Falcons to give it a shot. Look, Minnesota doesn't have a quarterback. Justin Jefferson is out with injuries. The running game is a little shaky. And then everybody else, I mean, the Saints only got Kamara, right? Who does Tampa Bay have? Can they remain consistent? I'm not sure that they can get it in there, right? So I do see Dallas falling off, right? At number 3, I'm gonna put the Seattle Seahawks. I'm sorry, I'm gonna put the Detroit Lions. Sorry about that. I'm gonna put them at number 3 because I like what they're doing out there, 6-2. And they've only lost once on the road at home, one conference loss. They're doing pretty good, guys. So at number 2, I'm gonna put in the Niners. I think they just fell into a little hiccup. And if Brock Purdy can stay healthy, I think they might go the distance into the playoffs, man. McCaffrey, they got weapons. I know Debo has been out with a little bit of injuries, but you know they don't need to panic because they got a Juke and they got Kittle, right? And obviously at number 1, man, I gotta go with the Eagles. They're 5-0 in the conference, 2-0 in the division, 4-1 on the road, 3-1 at home. Come on, guys! Come on, guys! I know you're hating on me here, Bones, but 7-1. I mean, you can say whatever you want, guys. 7-1, the number 1 team in the entire NFL, and you know, guys, I'm excited, bro. I see them going to the playoffs. Like, again, we're going to the Super Bowl. Jacksonville Jaguars and the Eagles?
Too early. I believe you can always really tell who's going to make noise in the playoffs after week 12. That's when the real contenders start showing, like, hey.
I like how, and listen, and then week 12 is going to come, and you're just going to extend this to, like, week 16. We're going to see who's really made out of what.
Nah. Everybody knows in December, teams start showing you, like, yo, we're just waiting for the playoffs. We're just waiting for the playoffs.
But we're talking fantasy, and we're already halfway through, guys. Week 14 is the last week of the regular season. Trade deadline is on Thanksgiving weekend. And we're about to see a pay-per-view showdown this season. AJ Brown versus Tyreek Hill is really the pay-per-view to see this year, right? I think that these two guys are perfect candidates for MVP if they were to be considering wide receivers for MVP, all right? Let's talk about it, Bones. Tyreek already hit 1,000 yards for the season for the first 8 games. And AJ Brown, most consecutive 125 receiving yards. Look, what do you want, bro? Pay-per-view.
Look, listen, my argument is very simple, and
your mind is very simple.
And I feel like that should go into, like, it should be taken into consideration when it comes to the MVP voting, right? So aside from the fact that it's almost practically a quarterback award, let's just talk about hypothetical if it's down to AJ Brown and Tyreek. Not because I'm a Dolphin fan, but I'm going to go with Tyreek. Why? Because AJ Brown had to have a meltdown on primetime TV. Crying because he wasn't getting the ball enough. Crying because he wasn't getting, targets or bars getting thrown to. Not what an MVP does, bro. An MVP is supposed to elevate their teammates, obviously be a factor on, on and off the field. This man had to cry and bitch and moan about targets.
Guys,
I didn't like that.
All great wide receivers complain about not hitting the ball, bro.
And I believe AJ Brown. Guys. I believe AJ Brown is a marvel. He's a marvel. He's top of the class when it comes to wide receivers in this league, and he's young, so he's going to be here for a very long time. But there's been games where Tyreek hasn't got. There was one game this season he didn't get a touchdown. Right? Multiple games we had less than 5 targets. But have you seen him complain afterwards? He says all he does is elevate and talk up Tua. Nope, that's my man. Most accurate quarterback in the league.
He's that booby trap on the water. He's that booby trap on the water, getting lap dances. He don't care.
You have to carry yourself as such. You have to carry yourself like an MVP. And I believe Tyreek has, and not AJ.
Guys,
and that's beyond stats.
If it comes down to a non-quarterback, for me, there is no other clear MVP than Austin Eckler. For me, you can say Christian McCaffrey, I understand, but Austin Eckler is the engine for the San Diego Chargers. And if he can play the ball, if they can trust him and he can stay healthy, the Chargers are a formidable team. They can take it to anyone in the league and they'll turn it around. I promise you, do not sleep on the Chargers. However, Austin Eckler is the engine of that team. Did you see what he did this past week, guys?
Fair enough. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Balls out every week. Every time he's healthy, he's balling. He's getting his catches. He's getting his yards. He's the goal line running back. And that team lives and breathes through Austin Eckler.
They do. I agree with that assessment, X. But it's not translating into wins. An MVP, most valuable player, gets your team wins. You see it in basketball all the time. The MVP is usually someone that takes their team to the playoffs. It's a regular season award. It's not a playoff award. Tyreek is my pick right now. 1,000 yards in 8 games plus. He's gonna break records this year. He's not slowing down. AJ Brown up there. I like Christian McCaffrey, but Eckler, I think his chances were hurt that he was out. You know, if he wasn't, you know,
valuable too. I'm not just going by his numbers on an overall. I'm saying on a per game basis.
If his health was there, if he was healthy all year long, the Chargers would look completely different. They'd be They'd be rivaling. People were talking about them being the Super Bowl favorites.
Right.
You know, but then it's not just him that got hurt. Mike Williams
early
IR.
But it's still early. You know, it's Tua. It's Tua early to call it because once Tua gets hurt, we're not going to be talking about.
Listen.
We're going to be talking about other players.
I can't take a man away from riding the short bus to school.
I can't take a man that's picking the Chargers seriously because we're talking about a team that still stinks from giving up a 28-point lead in the playoffs. And Austin Eckler's MVP consideration. I'm not trying to hear that shit.
Hey, it's a new year. If we want to bring up old years, like we can. All right.
Look, back to the Tyreek and AJ debate. There's only a 75-yard difference here, guys. All right. So there's a possibility somebody can come out on top. Tyreek right now, by default, just because he is the faster receiver. I mean, this guy is literally a cheetah. He basically leads him in almost every other statistical category on wide receivers, right? But there's only a 75-yard difference, guys, which is pretty much nothing. Tyreek has 61 receptions. AJ Brown got 60. So Tyreek is getting them long bombs, right? But AJ Brown is right behind them, guys. So could be like a spectacular season in the makings. We just wrapped up week 8. We still got plenty of football left to play. And I don't doubt that these two guys are leading their teams into the playoffs because they're just racking up them yards, you know. And on top of that, you guys have the Dolphins have a top second receiver just like the Eagles do. You know what I mean? It's almost like a carbon copy type of team. So we'll see what happens going into the playoffs, guys. And this pretty much wraps up our episode 34 of the Raw Report. But before we get out of here, guys, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, drop a comment, follow us on Instagram at Raw Fantasy Sports. And good luck week 9, guys. We're going into the playoffs pretty soon. It's push time, guys. It's
not
push
me. But I'm going to get Patty by the end of the night. Guaranteed.
These trade offers, man.
There you go.
Like, we're voting no to everything.
It's like a hockey assist, but it's like a hockey steal. I'm getting Patty because he was drafted by Bone Santana in the first round in a PPR league. Ladies and gentlemen, watching this pod. First round in a PPR league, drafts Patty Mahomes and then trades him for peanuts.
And now he's down in 5th place.
He will be on my team by 11:59 p.m.
Look at that. From 1st to 4th, guys, after trading Patty. You're going to learn. You're going to learn today.
You're going to learn today.
I just wanted an extra wild card win on my championship record. You guys
Who you think you is, X? Who you think you is, X?
I'm the reigning champ.
X has the greatest comeback in league history. What are you talking about?
I'm the reigning champ. By default. By Yahoo default.
Stop making shit up, bro. We're going to sue you for defamation.
By Yahoo default.
You making shit up now, man.
It's in the history. All you got to do is click championship last year. You see my name.
I'm about to
call Yahoo. We editing that shit out, nigga.
Nah, it says Tua Raw Dogs 2022 champion. Tua Raw Dogs is forever in there.
Never. All right, guys. See you next week. Good luck to everybody.
You gotta mute him, bro. If you're moderator,
get him off the pod.
I can't. Look.
This nigga Jerry be the
no more. You can't hear him no more, nigga.
He gives his opinions and he's a moderator, bro. You gotta mute this guy sometimes, yo.
Yeah, exactly.
The revolution will not be done.
You can't even understand him sometimes. It's incomprehensible.
All right, bro. Dale, man.
All right, guys.
Dale, brothers. Dale, thank you.